Captain Trell of the Galactic Union's Cultural Exchange Division had seen many bizarre things during his 30 cycles of service, but nothing quite prepared him for what he witnessed on Earth's contested northern territories. The battlefield stretched before him, a landscape of torn earth and distant explosions. His exosuit's environmental sensors chirped warnings about airborne particulates and radiation levels. Yet the humans beside him seemed utterly unconcerned. What baffled him most, however, wasn't their casual approach to danger. It was the artist. The human, a lean figure named Jack, sat perched on a rock outcropping with a wooden easel before him. His hands moved with swift, deliberate strokes across a canvas while artillery fire boomed in the distance. Occasionally, he would pause, squint at the horizon where human forces clashed with the mechanical Brex invaders, then resume his work. Is this normal? Trell asked the human commander, Major Davis. Davis chuckled, the sound strange through his translator. Combat artists? They've been around as long as we've had wars, which is to say, forever. Trell's secondary eyelids fluttered in confusion. But why risk a civilian in active combat? Jack's not exactly a civilian, Davis replied. Former infantry. Said he saw too much beauty in the chaos to leave it undocumented. The concept was difficult for Trell to process. Among the 12 spacefaring species of the Galactic Union, art was created in states of calm reflection or carefully induced emotional states. The idea of creating while surrounded by death and destruction seemed utterly contradictory. A distant explosion sent tremors through the ground. Jack merely stabilized his easel and continued working. May I observe the creation process more closely? Trell asked, his scientific curiosity overcoming his apprehension. Davis nodded. Trell approached carefully. The human acknowledged him with a brief nod, but remained focused on his canvas. What Trell saw there stunned him into silence. The painting wasn't simply a documentation of the battle. It captured something ineffable. The desperate courage of the human soldiers, the cold precision of the Brex machines, the stark beauty of weapons fire against the gathering dusk. Somehow, this human had transformed horror into something transcendent. The Brex are pushing west, Jack said conversationally, as if discussing weather rather than enemy movements. His brush never stopped. See how they're using the ridgeline for cover? Classic maneuver against our air support. Trell struggled to find words. You analyze tactical movements while creating art? Sure, Jack replied. Best way to capture the truth of what's happening. Art isn't just about pretty pictures. It's about bearing witness. 3 more human combat artists arrived at their position, each setting up at different vantage points. One worked with charcoal, another with digital tools, and the third, most shockingly to Trell, worked with vibrant splashes of color that seemed entirely divorced from the grim reality before them. We document different aspects, explained the woman with the colorful palette. Her name tag read Martinez. I focus on emotional impact. Tom there captures technical details, and Raj documents the human element. Jack's our master of light and shadow. Major Davis checked his communications device. You've got 20 minutes before we need to move to the next observation post. None of the artists seemed concerned by this time limit. If anything, they worked with greater intensity. Trell had come to Earth as part of a cultural assessment team, tasked with evaluating humanity's readiness for full Galactic Union membership. His species, the Vrex, were known for their careful, methodical analysis, but nothing in his training had prepared him for this. In galactic history, he said slowly, there are no records of any species creating art during battle. It is unprecedented. Jack glanced up from his canvas, a streak of paint across his forehead. That's because you folks separate everything. Life from death, beauty from horror, creation from destruction. Humans know better. It's all mixed up together. As the minutes ticked by, Trell recorded extensive notes on his datapad. The Galactic Union Council would find this behavior pattern fascinating and deeply puzzling. Most species created war memorials after conflicts ended. Some documented battles through historical archives, but none sent artists to the front lines to capture the immediacy of combat. When the 20 minutes elapsed, each artist quickly packed their supplies. Jack's canvas showed a hauntingly beautiful image, incomplete, yet somehow more powerful for its unfinished state. May I ask what happens to these works? Trell inquired as they moved toward the transport vehicle. War museum back home, Jack answered. Been doing this since humans first picked up spears. Something about watching your friends fight and die makes you want to make sure nobody forgets. As they boarded the transport, communication came through from Galactic Union headquarters. The Brex, humanity's mechanical adversaries, had requested peace talks. Their reason, translated through multiple linguistic filters, was as perplexing as it was unexpected. They say humans are incomprehensible, Major Davis relayed with a grim smile. Our behavior patterns don't match any known species. They specifically mentioned our creation of beauty amidst destruction as evidence that we operate on logic they cannot parse. Jack laughed as he secured his still-drying canvas. They should see our music festivals. Trell looked from the human artists to the battlefield beyond, understanding dawning slowly. In all the Union's careful assessments of humanity's potential as allies, they had missed something fundamental. These humans didn't compartmentalize experience the way other species did. It found creation in destruction, beauty in horror, and meaning in chaos. As the transport lifted off, Trell made his final note to the council. Humans do not merely fight wars, they experience them, document them, and transform them. Their combat artists represent something unique in the galaxy, the ability to witness horror without flinching and to create even as they destroy. This duality makes them unpredictable, but also invaluable. Recommendation: immediate approval for full Union membership. In the distance, the Brex forces began their withdrawal. Whatever calculations had led to their request for peace, Trell suspected it wasn't humanity's weapons that had proven decisive. It was their paintbrushes.